Now they are up against the #1 team in Europe.
Yeah, what a way to prove that they deserved the major spot. No one's going to be doubting them after this one if they can get it done. But for now, pretty much everybody's doubting them. And oh dear, not a good start. Double 50-50 on the kickoff, and even actually having a player pretty close to the net is not going to give you enough time to get back to that one. I mean, that was the closest cheat possible by Batira. Really well executed kickoff strategy there by Karmine Corp. Just simply the ball rolling slightly their way was too quick for G1 to respond to.
Oh, wait, this might be another one. Oh, my goodness. Uh-oh, G1. You're not arriving to the dance here, lads.
All right, I mean, yeah, not a great play there from G1. They've conceded a direct kickoff goal from a super close cheat going against them, and they just do the same thing again, and I think it's in their net twice in a few seconds. I mean, yeah, this is something that could definitely be worked on. Unnecessary risk. No one's going to take the. No one's going to deny that. But
Johnny's at the pre-show now. He's back to where he was on this.
Yeah, Karmine Corp really nailed their close cheats though. I mean, they did get the ball to go straight to the player who's close cheating, which is spot on from them. Yeah, close cheats. If you're going to do that on the other side and not have somebody between the ball and the goal, then this is going to happen to you occasionally. It's happened twice in a few seconds to G1.
Oh, now off the backboard, can they get a goal? Dorito delayed his shot, and they've got it over the line. Dorito didn't panic from his position, and I love this. A little fake-out shot, delay it, go underneath.
Yeah, that was a great fake there from Dorito, getting two players with one play there. It's actually just lunging forward, not expecting the ball to somehow end up behind him. Well, they wouldn't have hoped for, two quick goals conceded, but great response there from G1. As soon as they do get into midfield play, they're the first to score.
I mean, the good news for them is it couldn't have been worse. Like, everything from here on out is just better than what we just got. And I really want to discuss with you very quickly about the keys to victory, because we saw G1 yesterday. They were the quicker of the two between themselves and Oxygen, as Exotic realized he was not under pressure. It seemed like they had a clear advantage on that, but I feel like they are against the quickest team when it comes to getting that second man into position. So if G1 are going to stand a chance in this, they need some level of dominance from that particular role. As we go off the backboard, there's the follow, but such an awkward angle. Mark can't generate any power.
Well, Tomek yesterday in the post-match interview, immediately after winning against Oxygen, had to point out that actually they're kind of just focusing on their own play. They're just doing their own thing. They're trying to do what they like doing, just playing as comfortably as possible. And they're yet to really know if this works against KC. It might, that's the second goal from midfield play. So ignoring two kickoff goals, which are pretty easy fixes for G1, they've actually broken down the Karmine Corp defense twice. Not many teams in Europe are having an easy time doing that these days. So maybe their playstyle is going to work out just fine.
And the play style, for anyone seeing them for the first time, is overwhelming. There's no other way of describing G1 is marked by 8. Realized, actually, that Exotic was on the far side, didn't want to put the ball over to him. Instead, backflip to push the ball somewhere where Karmine Corp wants, but everyone's going. Extra contact means that the shot from Itachi didn't find any zest. We stay at 2 each. What a start to this series we've had, though, Johnny. Explosive.
Well, G1 did not just impress yesterday against Oxygen with that, very aggressive second man positioning, quick fire shots to the near post, but also their defense. And it was kind of an even distribution between all their players. Atomic has been, a very defensively minded player for the majority of his career. He's, way back in his original OG team Queso days, he was the defender on that team, predominantly. But marked by 8, not so much. Dorito also not so much. Not really known for the defensive play. More about that disruption, more about that pressure in the midfield. So to see all of them kind of evenly just distributing the work here and really helping each other out is wonderful to see. Look at Dorito there just making a passing option available. That's something else that we pointed out yesterday that they did brilliantly against Oxygen. So far, same plan for G1 that worked out in the quarter-final. That's Karmine Corp, of course, that team right now. And this is the guy, Batira, getting the center ball off the backboard for Exotic, who accidentally cleared that one to safety. G1 didn't really need to do much about it.
Main thing that I'm looking out here to give any hope that G1 can win this is the way that they are getting the ball out of their own side of the field, because this is something that the majority of teams against KC have struggled with this split. If they can't do it in a way that is convincing that, yeah, you can do this for 7 straight games, you just don't believe them. But right now, despite KC's offense and despite the opportunities they've created, nothing in just yet. That defense showing up again. Here's Vatira, the man of the moment. Maybe he asked a little bit too much of himself that time around, and it is G1 that have survived. See how long they can keep the ball out of their side of the field.
Yeah, that was a disgusting pass from Itachi. Unconventionally. I mean, usually when players are trying to drop down passes, they use the underside of the car to, kind of cushion the blow and take the power off the ball. But that time, Itachi adding power to the ball. Now Vatira's got an opportunity. Center to Itachi, and it's in. G1, you mentioned, just struggling to get that ball clear. Dorito 50s it backwards. Atomic crept forward and didn't get the touch that he wanted. Mark unable to cover them.
44 seconds, 1 goal separating the 2 squads. G1 have to win this. There is no other solution for them if they want to go to the Rotterdam Major. We saw them blow oxygen out of the water in the opening 2 games yesterday. Not been the case in this one. They've done well in open play. KC are a team that gets stronger as the series goes along. Tachi, past 1. 17 seconds now on the clock. They've got Dorito downfield. That's an infield pass to Exotic. Beautiful play from KC. And despite the midfield battle looking quite good towards the start of this game for G1, KC took advantage of it in the second half of the game. We've barely seen the blue side of the field. Maybe we get a little bit here. Atomic, that's nowhere near his teammate, and game 1 to KC.
And it goes all the way back to the first 5 seconds of the game. Just 2 kickoff goals in a row for Karmine Corp. That's something G1 can easily fix if they want to be a bit safer with their kickoff strategy themselves, instead of pressing up risky positions and going for kickoff goals every time from their own POV. Yeah, just take a look again. 2 extremely close cheats by both teams. And when the ball, Tarek probably can't believe this, when the ball goes up past you and you're cheating that close, there's really no way for you to react to the play. You can't. There's no time to react and bump the other team's cheating player. You are just going to fly straight past it. So, yeah, that's obviously the problem for G1 in game 1. Apart from that, I didn't really hate what I saw. I think they're not going to get as many free goals against a team like Karmine Corp as they did in the quarterfinal against Oxygen. That's, I think, for me, one of the biggest differences between KC and Oxygen. So Oxygen just give away, more free goals than Karmine Corp do. But G1 showed that they're able to break down that Karmine Corp defense, even if they're not gifted goals for free.
Karmine Corp is all about making that 3rd straight regional final. 2nd place over in the first tournament of the season. 1st place taking the championship during the last one. As we'll be jumping into this very soon. We've lost Itachi. We'll be able to get him back in soon enough. Hopefully we'll be able to find him. I mean, I see him on the camera, so that shouldn't be too difficult. But right now, we're looking at G1. The pressure is on them right now. They are a team that have got to win. Like for KC, this is all about just maintaining the momentum that they've got. You look at the players that we have got on G1. Do you think they improve under the pressure, or is it all about just maintaining as much of their level as they usually have?
I don't think they improve under the pressure, but I don't really believe that anyone improves under the pressure. Ice is an illusion in Rocket League. No one gets better when the pressure's on.
You really convinced us.
No one gets better in 0 seconds. The reason why teams like Moist and players like Rise have made a name for themselves as being icy and being better under pressure is because they just stay closer to their actual level under pressure, while everyone else around them is falling off a cliff and losing consistency to a great degree. Happens especially at 0 second plays, overtimes, game 7s. Everybody's just dropping off a little bit in level, and the players who can just stay closer to their normal level are made to look better, and it looks like they are getting better in 0 seconds, getting better under pressure. So no, I don't think they're going to get better, but it's just about trying to be as consistent as possible, trying not to fall off. Problem is, I don't think KC are going to fall off either.
No, KC can play this one for the prize pool. They've already got themselves qualification. They've already got themselves that #1 seed. It's all about just expanding what you've got. And typically in Rocket League, that is a nice position to be in as Itachi. Tries to get it. Mark Bay has been bumped, and Itachi can do the rest of it.
Yeah, massive play from Itachi again. A lot of touches there before the challenge came through. Mark just didn't go proactively, left himself kind of stuck in a position to get bumped there. He initially dodged the bump from Batira, but then just parked the car. He was, I think, waiting for the ball to reach him. Didn't have a good angle to jump up and challenge it. So yeah, tough position there for Mark. But you've got to be, getting yourselves out of those positions if you're going to battle a team like KC. They're going to keep doing that to you. You've got to react well to that. You're going to have to make some nice 1v2 plays to beat this team. Itachi's going again here. Reset. Defended this time as Atomic are on the backboard, but not too far as Batira pounces on a bit of an accidentally directed clear there.
Yeah, just pop straight out, and Batira does not need a second look at that one. Smashes it just underneath the crossbar, and Karmine Corp trying to run away with it here. Their offense has been pretty much the same as the offense we got yesterday from G1. They were the ones yesterday getting all the 2v1s. Now it's the opposite, as the flying nothing almost sends everybody over on G1 for a loop.
Yeah, we think back to that second goal and the failed clear from Atomic that led to it. You've got to be so careful when you're hitting the ball after it bounces in the wall in those positions. Nice pre-jump save there by Mark. They're really just holding on here, trying to keep the game as close as they can. Not allowing Karmine Corp to start to run away with this even more. It might have been a better option on that second play or the second goal for Atomic to just catch the ball in the back wall, just fully control it. Yeah, going for those little chip plays, the little half volley plays off back walls. The ball's gonna bounce off a greater distance, and it's harder to control that in situation control. It's so important against a team like Karmine Corp, and they just look every bit as good as they ever have. Seed 1 already locked in, Major already locked in for a good while now. It doesn't seem to matter. This team's still trying to prove that they're even better than we previously assumed. Everybody already had them at number 1. Now they're just trying to build a gap between them and the rest of the pack.
When you look at what their split has been, and you only have to look at how this weekend has been for everybody else. It has been, all right, just stay with it. We still don't have people that have qualified. And we are this late into the season, or this late into the split. KC have had this locked in forever. Like, they've barely ever been up against that sort of pressure. And you're seeing exactly why. They show up to every single series. As I said, triple grand finals, well within their reach. And G1 just can't get out of their own side of the field. And this nullifies the best things that G1 do, because when they get up to pace, they love to challenge everything. They love to stay in front of you, but they're not up to pace right now. They're at the pace that KC set, and when you defend, you have to lower it because you can't maintain that momentum constantly swinging around.
Yeah, they just really haven't been able to sufficiently manage their boost under all this pressure and create threatening counter-attacking opportunities. We're constantly seeing one, oftentimes two players in G1 completely run dry on boost, and there's only so much you can do with wave dashes and flips to keep up the momentum and keep up with the play at the pace that KC are playing. This is just textbook playing while you're ahead from Karmine Corp. They don't even have to defend. They don't even have to make saves. They are constantly attacking without overextending. They're constantly making efficient trades with their boost. G1 just can't get out of their own half. That's a decent attempt there. Mind game from Torito gives Mark by half a chance. I think I'm even being generous calling that half a chance, because let's be honest, that's always getting saved.
Yeah, straight to the goalkeeper. Exotic just toys with that one on the goal line, and it's a 2v1. Batira, he will walk this one in as Itachi has the Heat Seeker on.
As soon as G1 get to move out of their half for the first time in a long, long time, they're immediately punished for it. An overextension. I mean, they would have felt so desperate at that moment, though. It's been 2 minutes almost since they've left their goal area, their box. And as soon as they get out of their box, they overextend. But can you really blame them? They haven't really had a chance to attack at all this game. So overextending is almost expected in that instance. Just 5 shots this game for G1. And none of them have been all that threatening for Karmine Corp. Can they create anything here? No, the demos of Karmine Corp impeccably timed in the midfield once again. They have crushed Game 2 here. Game 1 was close, but this one, anything but.
I mean, it's just demo on command for Karmine Corp. there has just been no ability for G1 to maintain that pace. Every single time that they get a play going, they have to stop and stay still. And when we saw them play against Oxygen yesterday, there was none of that. They just seemed to have an ability just to know where their teammates were whenever they wanted to, and it has not been the case here. Karmine Corp 4-0. Surely this is going to be a timeout. That was really, really bad. There was some hope coming out of game number 1 that, yes, this might have just been the kickoffs. This one has been anything but, and G1 have confirmed that they are taking their timeout.
Yeah, they need to do something here. Game 1, it was a pretty good game for the last 4 minutes and 55 seconds. If you take away the 2 kickoff goals, yeah, they technically scored more goals. They did score more goals, literally, than Karmine Corp. But now we see that if sometimes Karmine Corp are just going to do this to you. So, while G1 are able to get out of their own half and get into a good midfield battle, yes, they look competitive here, but they don't have a consistent way to move the ball out of defense without taking risks, it would seem. They've tried clearing. Their clears just get intercepted. They've tried to control the play. They just get demoed. And it's Karmine Corp's ability to challenge without overextending that really is so impressive to witness. These guys they played an immaculate mid-game there, giving 0 opportunities to G1, completely starving them of any hope of coming back. And the score was only 2-0. It wasn't a complete blowout at that point, but it looked like 5 or 6. It looked completely over with the way Karmine Corp were playing.
So, a reminder yet again for those of you just joining us, if G1 win this, then we will be getting a tiebreaker. But if we keep going the way we are, Karmine Corp will lock in the major, not only for Moist, but also for Team Liquid, who they would play in the finals. Seeding for that still not yet to be secured. That would be discovered later on. But yeah, that's the way things currently stand. Karmine Corp want this day to be nice and short. They're making short work of this series up to this point. G1, there really is not much else to get into because the rest of their game plan requires them to execute what you were just mentioning there, Johnny. You cannot get up to pace and execute what they do at their best when you're stuck on the goal line and backboard. There's just nothing else to do. Like, the boost isn't yours. You're missing out on the 2 middle boosts. They are losing out quite often on their own back corner boosts. And at the same time, like, their management, when they are on low boost, has struggled. So it's just compounding the issue. They need this game to look significantly different. They've got the timeout buff on their side. Let's find out what they can use. And can they send us through to, at least a little bit more, as Johnny's seen something off the kickoff.
Yeah, we almost saw another immediate kickoff goal.
Oh,
we still going to potentially see a goal. I saved from Mark to deny it. It was almost another kickoff goal for Karmine Corp, but this time the difference was that the cheating player from G1, they realized they weren't able to make a play on the ball, just bumped the cheater on the other team. That's exactly what you've got to do if you're taking out the game by the direction that the ball bounces on the kickoff. So well played G1. A little bit of an improvement there. Still not much to write home about, but it's definitely better than just conceding in 2 seconds.
And maybe more of the blue side of the field seen already in this game than we had in the entirety of the last one. G1. A nice spot, but this is what KC can do to get the ball out of their side of the field. Now it's all about who's going to be first to it. Itachi guides it away from Dorito. Then it's Vatira first up. He's going to keep going. Didn't need to, as Exotic there on the line to put it across.
Yeah, Itachi today has just been unplayable at times. They didn't know where he was going with that one. He just air dribbled it backwards over the top of the first defender. Got someone else to jump as well. And unfortunately for G1, they did not have their third rotating in time to cover the open net opportunity. Now finally G1 get a good kickoff. Or, I don't even know if I should say good, a decent kickoff, but not able to do anything with it. Karmine Corp's 50-50 game looks to be pretty unplayable, and when you can't 50-50 the ball out of defense, when you can't seem to generate the pace or the boost to clear the ball out of defense, what else can you do? Do you try and dribble against Karmine Corp? Do you try and pass the ball out of defense? I mean, that's pretty risky against a team who can challenge as effectively as they can, a team who can intercept as effectively as they can, but G1 have got to do something here. At least they're not trapped. They don't feel as stuck at the moment as they would have in that Aquadome game.
Oh, they've almost have caught them out. Marked by 8. took all the flair out of it and decided, let's just go Route 1, put it in.
Really nice mind game as well. There was a challenge right in front of him, but he convinced Itachi that he needed to dodge as soon as possible and delayed his own dodge to deflect the ball into the bottom corner. It's a perfect placement. Mark actually with a 1v3 there. Just a straight up 1v3 play. And it all happened in the blink of an eye. Just pouncing on a loose touch from Vatira. So even Vatira making slight mistakes. Mark there to capitalize should it occur.
Do get Dorito again as Atomic can't find the player. Is this going to be their second one? It's in a nice spot actually for Mark by 8, but he can't take the shot from there. Which, as you saw, he did run out of boost on his way up to the ball. But this is a better position right now for G1. Well, they haven't seen in quite some time. That's an awkward save, and Mark by 8 sees his shot smothered at the point of contact. KC have kept this at 1 each, but G1 are starting to rumble.
Ooh. Yeah, this is the G1 that we saw yesterday against Oxygen. It's probing, just trying to apply that squeeze, but they do it a bit differently from Karmine Corp. It's less of a, just do the bare minimum to force misplays. G1 are really going for it here. They're going to send it with the second man. Atomic, the solo play. Oh, with that for acceleration. Rockets on into the near post on the reset.
He has been after this for the last 2 games. Atomic has not gone down the route of trying to power the ball down to the field. He keeps going for these solo plays, and what a confidence booster that is for G1 to get it to come off in such a massive fashion.
Really a perfect shot there from Atomic. It's so difficult to get that much power on a reset when the ball is moving quickly away from you. You've got to time it so perfectly, not just with the shot, but with the reset to set up the shot. You didn't see, there was like no time between the reset and the shot there. He had to just go for it. He nailed it, and now G1 are in front. Timeout seemingly working. They're having so much more success getting the ball out of their own half. Actually, we're seeing Karmine Corp run a bit dry and boost at times. Another opportunity for G1. They decide to pass it middle. Vatira's there. Either a bit of miscommunication there from G1 or just I think the fear of shooting, potentially defended near post. As Dorito's redirect capabilities today, he's missed that one. Still in G1's favor though. This is a position that they're going to like.
Big difference for me right now is how much more comfortable. Oh, wait a minute. As Mark ran out of boost, couldn't finish the job, and now his teammate has missed it. Atomic has to get there, almost wiped off the map. G1 causing their own problems. And I think I will hold on saying what I've liked from G1 until they win this, because that might change at any moment.
Yeah, just being very careful not to hit the ball towards Karmine Corp. They're playing a bit more of a keep away strategy defensively. That's such a big part of midfield play in Rocket League is hitting the ball into positions your teammates can reach and hitting the ball into positions your opponents can't reach. It's less about hitting the ball towards the net and more about playing it into space that you can work with. Look at this. Patience from G1. Atomic with a much easier mechanical goal than his last one. But they've all gotten involved. They're up by 1 and they're still getting everybody into attack. They know that it is not safe to just park the bus against Karmine Corp with a 1-goal lead. Now they've got 2.
I'm still not going to talk about it. I've seen them concede 2 goals in 5 seconds before, so with 31 seconds, still be a little bit worried if you're a G1 fan out there. Exotic off the backboard. Does he have the support around? Almost took the ball away from Atomic, who knew he was on his way. 13 seconds. Karmine Corp, who were cantering towards a grand final. Just seen the gauntlet thrown down in front of them as G1 off the timeout, bounce back. It's 2-1 now in the series, and G1 have managed to go up a gear. And Johnny, I'm now finally going to talk about what I liked. I feel confident enough now that G1 might have won that game, because we were talking about, we harped on it a lot during the timeout, just getting out your own side of the field. And the big difference to me in that game was G1's comfort at challenge, take mid boost. Don't instantly rush back with low boost. They were taking mid boost and then leaving a player around there. So when you do end up power clearing, they have someone that can get that extra touch. Even if that doesn't end up workout, you have somebody that can challenge the third man on KC. And it was a little bit more of a disruption than what we had previously, where KC didn't need to worry about any of that because all 3 players were directly in front of them.
Yeah, it's a big part of boost management as a team, is trying not to compete with each other for the same boost pads. You know, just as important as boost stealing your opposition is actually just leaving boost up in positions that your teammates might need it. And, you know, that could be small pads as well. You're nothing worse than when you see a teammate drive over the back corner big boost and then hoover up all the small pads as well when you're rotating in behind them with nothing, hoping that they leave at least the small ones for you. Well, that's what going out and fighting for the mid boost does. It leaves up those back corners.
Oh, again?
Don't tell me they've done it again. You've got to be joking me, G1. I mean, there's getting it wrong in the first 10 seconds of the series, but they've had a while to think about it now, and they just don't get anything to work there. Mechanically, strategically, it's all gone wrong. Karmine Corp, they don't even have to try right now. They're just getting gifts. Christmas come early.
I mean, the kickoffs won KC the first game. Now that might be the same case here in game number 4. Get started, although G1 putting the pressure back on. There's a world where you could argue that G1 have had the better of the midfield game in 2 of these 3 games that we have played. The thing that stands out, though, is just how dominant KC were in that game 2.
Yeah.
And field to Mark, what a hit! And probably hit the crossbar anyway, but Itachi making sure.
You know, KC, they just look a little bit more comfortable when they're boost starved. They are being on the receiving end of some good G1 pressure here, but they don't look like they're panicking. You know, even when you're seeing multiple players jump in the same area for the ball, they're not landing out of positions. They're able to get back into relevant plays pretty quickly. The only real bad double commits you get these days in defense are when defenders are flying out of the net at the same time at different angles and both landing somewhere in the midfield. You know, as long as you're just like jumping across the box, jumping across the goal line, and then landing and being ready to do it again, it doesn't really matter if you're double committing, because you're both back in the play for the next touch anyway. So, you know, great positioning here from Karmine Corp to just survive at times here and give time for that back corner boost to respawn. That's a fantastic save as well. Tomic looking at air dribble over to Exotic at the last second. Exotic showing that he is not just a passenger on this team. He is an important third. Vatira going solo, backboard play to himself, marked by 8 with a massive pinch clear off his own crossbar.
Vatira is the one that everybody challenges in that position, as that's awkward. But now it's the retreat back for G1. Just you've seen Vatira hit those plays so often that you're almost guaranteeing it whenever you see him put the ball there, so you need to get over to him. Exotic with his own chance goes over the top of one, stealing reset. But his first touch to get past the first player ended up being a bit too strong. Is there anybody left here? Dorito low boost. Ended up having just about enough to get rid of that ball. Now the counterattack from G1 would have wanted a little bit more on that hit, as G1 very prioritized on taking those boosts away.
You know, but you mentioned at the end of the last game, you know, G1 were running out to that mid boost effectively. Vatira right there did the same thing. His corner boost got stolen, but he has trust in his teammates behind him. Just goes for the mid one. Well, they're maybe going to need a little bit less trust in that touch though. Dorito gets an open net. That was a pretty risky 50-50. Vatira goes for the big win there. I think he's just played into the world's most obvious dunk, if I'm honest with you. I mean, I don't know why he didn't see that one coming. That's so unconventional for Karmine Corp to be the team getting dunked on like this.
And you're looking at the other player from G1. There's no reason not to jump at that one. You've got the backboard just behind you. The recovery is easy. If anything, it might actually be quicker to recover like that because you're just going to maintain the momentum and keep moving on your way back. So it didn't even feel like it was much of a difficult read for Vatira. 1-1. The last time G1 were in this position, they ended up losing it from there. And that kickoff goal still come back to haunt them. 2 minutes left to play. Dorito has to rotate back out as Vatira in the air. It's just a moment of recalibration from defenses whenever you see Vatira on the ball.
Yeah, luckily he did a boost there, but G1 weren't too sure of that fact, so they were playing it as carefully and as cautiously as they could anyway.
Oh, double commit.
And G1 not on the same page there. Mark by 8 trying to pre-flip the ball into the middle, and the near post, as usual from G1. It's where the second man was. They don't often send that second man across the box. He's usually right behind the first man, coming in tight at the near post. It's a pretty traditional way of following up on a center ball. Still effective to this day. Well, Exotic's in a bit of an awkward spot here, but he does well. Not a lot of boost to his name, but he's managed to get 2 players out of the game. Here's the third. Zorito, stopped by Tachi.
Zero clears, drop down pass, but it's been happening quite often for G1. No communication as to what the play is supposed to be. There's been a few times where the pass has been to nobody, and the double commits have left defenders in rough spots. That's a huge commitment by Mark. Nothing coming of it. G1 seem to be slowly losing grip of this midfield battle. KC in the better of a few exchanges. Although you don't want to be leaving those sort of shots, Vatira does well. Gives it straight over to Exotic. And those are the shots from G1 that aren't designed to go in, they're designed to get a bad save.
All final seconds of the game now. I was about to say, I want to see more lateral movement from Vatira. As soon as I go to open my mouth, he gets the ball moving sideways. He's been going a bit too directly into, I'd say, pretty expected dunks from his opponents. Can he get one of his own here? Saved by G1. Follow up also denied. But the ball's just in the air here. Vatira just going straight back towards the ball in his recovery here. Keeps it away from danger. And into overtime we go.
And a massive overtime at that. It is even tied series of 3 match points for KC. Well, we're past the kickoff, so that's at least 50% of the job done now for G1.
Yeah, I'm not, they didn't have a goalkeeper, so they could have just conceded there as well. But they haven't, so they're in the game. They're in the series. One more would actually put this one in a very interesting position. Like you mentioned, midfield plays pretty well for them. That's a great save, Atomic, just in the nick of time to deny Itachi's flip reset. Itachi's had a big game, big series today, I should say, with his outplays. He's been tough to read. Vatira, always a threat whenever he's near the ball. Oh, what a play that is. Exotic has surprised everybody with a vicious corner wall read. And it didn't go directly in, but it was all but easy for Itachi to score when Exotic puts the ball in a spot like that. What a shot. Turn pass from Exotic there. Absolutely stealing the show. Karmine Corp up 3-1. Disastrous for G1.
And there is the threat of KC. We were talking about Vatira, we were talking about Itachi, and then Exotic just jumps on in and says, nah, I'm the game winner here. That is what KC bring to the table. For Moist Esports and for Team Liquid, it is 3 matches now. If KC win any of these, then G1 are eliminated, and Moist and Liquid will be going to the Rotterdam Major. G1 are going to need to prove something massive on this. They have to beat the #1 team in Europe without dropping a game 3 times, and maybe no more kickoff goals on the way to it.
Is it a conspiracy? I feel like there's a conspiracy here. Like, why are there so many bot kickoff goals? I don't get it. Like,
I should have mentioned it. We've sent him off.
I feel like there's never been a season where we've talked about it more often than this season, and it's happening more often than ever.
Do you know what I think it is as well?
Bot kickoff strats. It doesn't make any sense.
I feel like we get it a lot on series that we cast. Like, we watch all of these behind the scenes, and I don't think it happens quite that often.
It didn't happen earlier on today. Not the other semi-final. I didn't see anything too weird. And then we've had 3 and 4 games. Complete unforced errors. But, you know, there was also another unforced error in the last game. Vatira kind of giving G1 a goal back by just unnecessarily hitting the ball into the player that was driving right at him. And you could see that he was driving right at him. I'm not sure if that was just some kind of mind game for Vatira. Maybe he's thinking, well, he knows that I can see him coming, so I'm just going to hit the ball into him anyway because he'll probably fake. And then, yeah, they didn't. I mean, it's marked by A. It's a Spanish first man. They're not gonna fake. They're obviously gonna drive into the ball. Oh, look at this. That's just a goal from distance. Rare Karmine Corp misplay with their attempted squeeze. Oh, so often we see that dive in connect, but Atomic was quick to the punch and accurate from distance as well.
Yeah, the first time. I mean, we could probably go back and look at every single goal Karmine Corp have conceded this split. You'd be very lucky to find many that have been from hits on the opposing side of the field. is not the sort of goal they end up letting happen, as the bouncing hit ended up being a little bit awkward. G1, a rare good start for them. They've actually got a series where they don't have to try and claw their way back into the game. Let's see what they can do with it, because as I mentioned, got to win 3 in a row here, and KC still have their timeout. Oh my goodness! Oh, you can't stop it!
Well, Matira has snuck into the cross-the-box position here. He's still one boost to one side, crosses over the box. There's no one in demo, no problem. Ball cam's done, see the pass coming, and a perfect redirect on target. You know, well played by Exotic again. He assisted the overtime goal in the last game. Now he's assisted the opener for Karmine Corp in game 5. G1's hopes to make it major, looking less and less likely with every passing minute. And they still have control of their own destiny, but there's only so many times you can allow Karmine Corp to come back into a series before they just take it all.
No, good challenge to realize that they've got to give up on this offense for the time being. Players on his team out just from one player's challenges. Atomic midfield. Nice play to get the ball away. There's the infield pass, but it was to the opposite team. Mark 28 now, up to the air. This has been the most success G1 have had, is just going for those outplays. Getting the ball in a playable position from a midfield bounce has been a pretty rare occurrence for them. And getting that outplay against the entirety of KC is even rarer.
You know, they are still in this. We're thinking about win conditions for G1. Well, ignoring game 2, they've looked extremely competitive in every game. And especially once they can get into a back and forth midfield like this, which not many teams are comfortable against Karmine Corp. Usually this is the kind of play that just eventually starts to swing more and more in Karmine Corp's favor. And G1 have actually been awkward. They've been creative, and they've done it again. They've broken down KC's defense, this time with a fake challenge, marked by 8, just driving into the ball. Exotic's expecting him to flip, and Exotic's actually created the power on that pass there, which again, Atomic is first to read.
Feels like the basis of all of the goals we're seeing go in at the moment are the same. Just find a way to displace the defenders and make sure second man is there as quickly as possible. We've had that in pretty fascinating ways from KC. Same thing over there for G1. Over 2 minutes left. And just over 12 minutes required from G1 if they are to take this series. Can they get themselves a 2-goal lead? I mean, that's not a position they found themselves in.
I believe just once this series, they were able to extend the lead late in the game. They are still trying to press up for it. They know better than to sit in defense. They saw what happens when you sit in defense against Karmine Corp. Game 2 of this series, where they just sat in defense for 5 seconds and they got stuck there for the entire game almost. G1 have to keep the comms clean. All it takes against Karmine Corp is one simple mistake in the midfield. If 2 players dive in offense, okay, now we've got a problem. Defensively, we were talking earlier about how, you know, these defensive double commits these days, not really too much of an issue at times. The recoveries are instantaneous, but in offense, it can be a different story if players are lunging in.
Oh, there it is.
And they're out of the game. This is so key that Dorito makes the safe touch. He does. Karmine Corp trying to just patiently wait for that mistake. So far, it hasn't arrived.
Okay.
They've been the first to make it. They've confused themselves on that one, Shogun.
Good. Sure. Well, they're still in a good spot for them. Low boost on Itachi. He's going to be trying to get himself back. That might open up some gaps here for G1 to escape. Instead, it's a wide open ball. Nobody challenged that for the longest time. 50 seconds on the clock, but Tira looking for the double. 2 players committed, but in that position, you're a lot better to go for the double commit. You're in defense, you can land on the wall, the recovery is easier. Exotic didn't like that first one, decides to just wait for his second opportunity. And KC doing great when they go laterally. Just put somebody, if you've got the ball on the right-hand side, put the passing option over in the deep left. And that might be their way back into this and to force an overtime.
It's been a quiet game 5, but that's what G1 want. They're not going to like this. It's actually still going after his own shot here. Just an important touch from the G1 defense to deflect what would have been a venomous strike. over the bar and wide. Now just a few seconds left for Karmine Corp to work with. They're not going to get up in the air. G1 win game 5. And now they cannot be thinking about what could have been. We've been talking about it a lot today. They've kind of given a bunch of free goals to Karmine Corp. That doesn't matter right now. What matters is that they are 2 games away from the grand final. 2 games away from joining Moist and Team Liquid on the exact same points total, which would just be terrifying for Moist fans. Guarantee a timeout, not a timeout, sorry, guarantee a tiebreaker later on today. But we do have a timeout right now from Karmine Corp.
And I love it. I think that is the best shout that KC could have gone for there, because I feel like it's pointless timeout into Champions Field. That's going to reset everybody anyway. You know, players, especially under the amount of pressure that G1 are under, do not go onto Champions Field and play 100%, as we were talking about earlier on, Johnny. So ice them here. They've got a game win, fantastic. Make these next 2 games feel as long as possible, and don't let them start to get that momentum up and running. So for Karmine Corp, I do believe that this was the right shout. For G1, just keep doing what you're doing. The midfield play, I hate that we've got a series that has had so many kickoff goals that we're now having to differentiate between neutral play and kickoffs. But that's just sort of what this has become.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. In midfield, in the just, you know, if we can get into the
Rocket League part of this.
Yeah, I think there's like a 10, sometimes 15-second window after kickoffs happen in threes where the game is more chaotic. Players haven't yet had time to build up their average boost total and build up their momentum, get that rotation established. But when G1 can get into that stage of the game, they've looked very competitive outside of Game 2. We keep bringing back Game 2. But that was the game right before the timeout that G1 called. And since then, we've not seen anything like Game 2. You know, Karmine Corp might just do that again. You never know. They are just that good that they can just completely starve an opposing team of any opportunities to escape their box. That's, of course, just a harsh reality that G1 fans face right now. Yeah, Karmine Corp might just stick them in defense, and then what do you do? But they kind of done this themselves. They're in the position because they didn't take the chances. Well, actually, I feel like maybe they took the chances. That's not the right way of describing it, but they gave too many opportunities to Karmine Corp. Let's see what KC have been talking about in that break. Let's see if we can get into midfield back and forth. So far, so good. Oh, that's a great shot, though. Exotic snipes the top corner. How about that for a pass as well from Vatira? Not a direct kickoff goal, but it's the next best thing. Back corner possession, mind game from Vatira, and a perfect shot from Exotic.
But it's a play that has been drawn up from the kickoff. The idea to purposefully lose it to your back corner.
Yeah.
And there you go, you get the pass. So whilst not a direct one, it's as good as we go off the backboard. Exotic missed it! And Dorito couldn't take the opportunity presented to him. G1 are back in a position that they've got used to in this series, which is having to play early on from behind. Can they get this goal back and send us to Champions Field for our Team Liquid and Moist making it? First time, Johnny, that we've had it go this late to find out who is going to be securing their spots. And we might be securing 2 in 1, as that's an interesting pass. Itachi decides to go for the, if I shoot this badly, it can't possibly go in strategy. Oh, do you want to make this awkward for themselves?
Oh, yeah, I think the fake wasn't planned there. It was called after G1 realized it was about to happen, but it wasn't planned early enough for there to be any kind of follow-up. Yeah, Moist probably thought when Vatira left the roster that they wouldn't see him play for them ever again, but that's exactly what's happening here. Vatira and Karmine Corp are just 3 minutes and 45 seconds away from sending Moist to the major. He's not done helping Joyo and Rise, his old teammates, out, and that's exactly what they want right now. They want nothing to do with tiebreakers. That's far too much pressure. We've seen so much chaos without the pass. There's now Atomic scrambles back. Itachi didn't have the momentum to get around the ball and create the shot. Huge for G1. Still a 1-goal game.
They cannot let this drop to a 2-goal deficit. Right now, though, this is starting to look an awful lot like game number 2. Need to get rid of this ball. And that's a good start from them. Exotic only back out. Vatira's been beat to it. That's a difficult ball to play with as Itachi finds enough purchase. G1, first position of offense in quite some time. low boost on a few of their offensive players. And Magbe was looking around. Now he's got an opportunity. Take the shot. And Exotic gets rid of it.
The G1 are just trying to create shooting angles here, but Karmine Corp are doing such a great job of keeping the ball dead in the corner, keeping it stuck and bogged down in that area. It's very difficult to get the ball away from goalkeepers and away from defenders when it's in that area. And Itachi's beating Atomic to the ball here. G1, while they try and press up for an equalizer, have to be also careful not to overextend. There's still time. They do not need to send it all just yet. They don't need to take that all-in risk until I'd say final minute when you're down by 1. And they don't need to right now. That could be game. No, Itachi with a heroic save. Still the ball's in the box. Itachi again the one to clear it. G1 just can't catch a break. That was so close, but no goal.
How much closer can you get? And they've had to back down now. That was the last flurry that was available for them. Boosting positions need to get back as Atomic. Been in this position a few times. He's caused problems a few times. He looks to keep going the whole way. Oh my goodness, they're getting so close.
I mean, that was an admirable attempt there from G1. The point blank range, free jump passing. Now Atomic with a double attempt, but Exotic's there to clear it. It just seems like every time the G1 are that one step away from scoring, one of the Karmine Corp defenders just rushes into play and squanders all their hopes. But like we keep saying, there's still time. They don't yet need to go for that all-in play. If they're down by 2, they'd have to, but 1 goal is all they need right now. And now they're in a 2v1, but Fatir is able to get the ball immediately. No control from G1 on that push.
They've had a few occasions like that, but G1 can't find the demo. They keep hunting for it. It's not been around for them. What an interception from Exotic. Vatira, maybe to finish the series, couldn't find the hit. And scrambles back into a defensive position. 1 minute now. Team Liquid and Moist waiting in the wings. Are they going? Clear shot. That will be 2-0. KC 49 seconds away from sending themselves through to the grand finals.
And there it is, the overextension. The final minute, warning came up, and I think that just triggered something in G1's minds. They thought, well, okay, we've got to go for it now. We're going to just all get an attack and hope that it works. Well, it didn't. Now they're down by 2 goals. Team Liquid and Moist, less than a minute away from clinching major on the back of Karmine Corp's second grand final run, third grand final run in a row, I should say. What have G1 got left? What have Karmine Corp got to do to concede? They've scored again. It's actually doubles from distance.
3-0. G1 had a go at it. This is where their major hopes are going to end. Unless, Johnny, the ultimate redemption story.
3 kickoff.
They need kickoff.
That truly would be the greatest redemption story in Rocket League history after conceding 3 so far this series and not avenging any of them. Karmine Corp, they've just been too dominant here. Karmine Corp have just been too defensively sound. G1 have impressed. I think this has been a great run for them. I think they've done well here. I think they've shown that they could really be a top 5 team in this region. They could be a major team at some point this season, but it's not going to be this split. It's not going to be against Karmine Corp in the semis, who secured their 3rd grand final in a row. The Kings of Europe trying to win 2 back-to-back.
Everyone, your European major teams. Karmine Corp, Quadrant, Oxygen, Team Liquid, and Moist Esports. A tiebreaker will not be required. It is Karmine Corp up against Liquid in your grand finals.
Well deserved as well. You know, for all of G1's mistakes from kickoffs, Karmine Corp were there to punish them, and I think you've got to also look at how well they executed their actual kickoffs with their close cheat. If you're getting a close cheat like this, you've got to win the kickoff. You've got to get it into a position that player can work with. That's exactly what Karmine Corp did. They put the pressure on G1 from the very start to the series, the very start of this series, and it was off the back of their brick wall defense, their frustrating defense to play against, that they secure the win in Game 6. G1 eventually overextended. It was inevitable almost. If they couldn't get a goal before that final minute, before that last minute scramble, we knew that Karmine Corp were going to get a counter-attack goal at some point. But honestly, still well played G1 for this event as a whole. A lot to go back and learn from. I think that they overall will be quite happy with this, how this split has ended, because there are easy mistakes that they can fix, becoming even stronger for the next one.
So let's find out after this break. Will KC be double regional champions? We'll find out very soon.